We start tonight with a story that has captivated the country for weeks. It's the war between Donald Trump and Rosie O'Donnell. I had the chance to speak exclusively with the Donald about the views of his nemesis. The Rosie-Donald Trump battle is now taken on, well, I guess another dimension, and that is it's Donald Trump versus Barbara Walters. The other day on The View, she called you a poor, pathetic man. Your reaction to Barbara?
Well, Barbara was a very sad case. She read it right off a cue card. She wasn't looking up. She was shaking. She looked terrible. And Rosie was probably screaming at her backstage. You know, they had a huge fight backstage, and I can imagine. But Barbara, it's very sad what happened to Barbara. And it was very sad the way she said it. She didn't look at the camera. She's reading a cue card. Rosie screamed at her and said, "What do you think?" And she read this, "He's a pathetic man." And it was very sad to watch it, to be honest with you, because I know Barbara very well. And watching how she's become like Rosie's servant was very sad.
You said she's taken the low road for the sake of her show rather than for morality. You said she lied with Star Jones, and now she's chosen to lie again. In the letter that you wrote Rosie, you said, "Barbara lied to both of us." Tell us about the call that Barbara made to you when Barbara was on vacation.
Well, Barbara made a call, and she told me lots of different things, but she really wanted to just apologize for Rosie's behavior. Rosie said many things that were just wrong. First of all, it all started with Miss USA, and Rosie was very strong in the fact that I should not have given this very nice young woman a second chance. I should have fired her and gotten rid of her, and what right do I have to give her a second chance? And it was disgusting. But Rosie, ranted and raved like a lunatic, and then she actually said I went bankrupt, which I never did. And it's sort of interesting because last month I'm on the cover of the Forbes 400, and I have Rosie saying I went bankrupt. Now, she might have been referring to a long time ago, but I never went bankrupt. And they've apologized for that. But, you know, it's just sad when I see what's happened with that show, because what's going to happen is their ratings will be good as long as we do this thing with Trump, and then their ratings are going to tank like a dog. You watch. You know, Rosie's last show became a disaster. It was successful at the beginning, moderately successful, and then toward the end nobody wanted to watch it because you can't take her in large doses. Yeah. So Barbara said some very negative things about Rosie during the call, and I related that to Rosie because I felt I had an obligation to do so.
Well, you've been very public in what Barbara said. You said that she said to you that working with Rosie is like working in hell. The Donald, never get in the mud with pigs, that you're saying Barbara said that about Rosie.
Absolutely.
And that she won't be here very long.
If you notice that Barbara, looked at her cue card the other day and in almost a trembling way said, read the statement that Rosie probably wrote out for her. So that was pretty sad. But if you notice, they did everything but discuss the letter that I sent. See, I thought that they were going to discuss. In fact, I turned on The View for the first time in a long time because I thought they were going to discuss the statements that I made and the statements that I made in the letter concerning Barbara and what she said. And they didn't discuss it at all. So Barbara has never said that she didn't make these statements. Somebody should ask her the question, did she make these statements or not? Because she's never said that she didn't make these statements. And I'd love to see Barbara tell me that she did not make these statements. She has never said that, Sean.
Well, you know what I want to ask you? Why do I suspect? You've been a businessman for a long time. You're a high-profile individual. New York is a one-party record state, meaning that if one party decides to record a conversation, it's perfectly legal in New York. And I don't know that anyone's even asked you, did you record that conversation with Barbara Walters?
Well, I don't want to comment on that, but I think Barbara probably feels that I did because she's not going out and saying that she didn't say these things. So Barbara probably feels that I did.
You didn't start this. Rosie O'Donnell started this. She attacked your morality. She attacked your looks. She attacked your business. And then all of a sudden you make a decision to fight back. Do you in any way regret that? And why did you make this decision to
No, I'm
fight
honored
back?
by it because I like to expose Rosie for what she is. I've known Rosie for a long time. She's a very unattractive person. She's a bully. She's like a bull, and she goes out and she attacks Danny DeVito, and she attacks Kelly Ripa. What she said with Kelly Ripa was horrible. What she recently did with the Chinese, where she laughed at the Chinese, I mean, those people should be having a field day with her right now. They were very upset, and they should be. But what she did with the Chinese was terrible. I mean, this goes back even Tom Selleck. I remember this guy sitting there talking about a movie, and she just attacked him. And they don't attack back. And I don't understand, although the Chinese will attack back, but maybe they'll attack in a different form. But they don't attack back. I attack back when somebody said a lie. She said I went bankrupt. I never went bankrupt. She said other things. But the big thing she said was the way I handled it Miss USA. Now, I guarantee you this. She's given women second chances. She's given women many, many chances. And she's probably jealous. And originally I called it, if you remember, Beauty and the Beast. Miss USA, the beauty, and Rosie, the Beast.
Yeah, it's funny because I think that showed a different side of you. I don't think, when you had that press conference, I think everybody expected you to take her crown away. So I think that was a surprise for everybody. Let me ask you this, and I have no doubt you have a lot of people around you advising you, telling you, Donald, just let this go, let it drop. I want to talk specifically about the words that have been used in this battle. Loser, bully, fat, pimp, animal, terrible person, very unattractive, not smart, ignorant, etc. Is maybe in life, I guess one could argue it's always better to take the high road, but sometimes, in this particular case, you decided you were going to hit back with force.
Sean, when you're dealing with an animal, Rosie's an animal, when you're dealing with an animal, you don't necessarily take the high road. Now, I did use most of those words. Degenerate was one I think you left out. I did use most of those words. I just want to correct you.
I'm sorry. I missed degenerate. I apologize for that.
I didn't emphasize the word fat because all of us, from you to me to everybody, if we lost 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20
I need
pounds,
15. I'm in the 10, 15-pound category.
I am too, and it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. So I didn't emphasize that word at all. But the other words, absolutely. When you're dealing with an animal, you have to take a different road. Look, number one, she's not a very intelligent person. I know her. And she's not a very intelligent person. She gets away with it by being extremely aggressive and by being a bull. And she gets away with things that she shouldn't get away with. But Rosie is not smart. Rosie's very aggressive, a little bit wacko, probably a lot wacko, and she gets away with things because of that. Rosie's a slob. She's everything I said about her, and she's a bad person. Most importantly, she's a bad person. She will take down Barbara Walters. You watch.